I feel like someone's playing music. That's rude. Can you not? Hello everybody, if you're new, welcome to the channel. Mind the hair. It is wet. I literally just had a shower. I feel like I always film these videos right after having a shower. Because listen, I struggle, I get it. But as soon as I've actually had a shower, that first like hour to 2 hours is like prime motivation. Like I have a shower and within 5 minutes I want to reevaluate my whole life. And then after the hour I'm like, that's kind of embarrassing. I'm not going to do any of that. But I thought I would utilise it right now because I can and I wanted to make a video. So here I am. Ignore the hair. It's a work in progress. So one thing about me is I'm very, I won't say open, but I'm very open to talking about mental health, and I think it should be normalised. And it's like, I'm not necessarily ashamed of it. It's just a personal experience that to me I want to keep some things to myself, and others I'm like, you fucking know everything about me, let me just info dump all my trauma. I'm not doing that right now though. I basically just wanted to do a little catch-up video because I haven't made a sort of sit down and talk about what's going on with me for a little while, and because I don't upload much, it's been a little while, like 2 or 3 years possibly, since I've done this sort of mental health sit down talk thing. I think that when was the last time I did this? I think it's when I went on the walk. The walk was fun, but it didn't help solve anything. What's brought this along is, if you have watched Dan Howell's tour that he did, if you were on tour with him, I was not, but I watched the live stream thing that he did after, and boy did that show fuck me up. Like, me and Dan, we linked on so many fucking concepts. It was insane. The show was amazing. The message was amazing. I sobbed. Fuck you for that. But it also made me realise some things about myself, which I guess was the point. But I was not grateful for it on a random Sunday afternoon. Was it a Sunday? It feels like it was a Sunday. Overall, his whole channel has like made me realise a lot of things about myself, and they've helped me through a lot of times that I've had myself. I've been watching them both, Dan and Phil, since I think I was like 10 when I found them, dead ass, which is half of my life. From here on out, I've known them longer than I've been alive. Oh, that's gross. I mean, love you boys. That's a really weird concept to think about. Anyway, back to the point that I was trying to make. I've talked about it before that I struggle a lot with my mental health, mostly my depression, but I've also began to realise that my anxiety sort of aids in my struggle for depression. And I struggle with anxiety a lot, mostly social anxiety. I hate interacting with people. I hate talking to people. Like, I know that there's good people out there and there's kind people. You could be the nicest goddamn fucking person on this planet and I will still hate talking to you purely because I criticise every little thing about myself. Do not mind my dodgy shower leaking in the middle of what I'm saying, because I had a shower less than 10 minutes ago. Uni students. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you could literally be the nicest fucking person and I hate talking to you because I know that I will say some shit that makes me seem weird because I don't know how to interact with people. And I know that COVID didn't help that. I was bad at talking to people pre-COVID, but after COVID and I had like a year plus alone, it's all gone out the window. Any fucking structure I had of saying, hi, how are you, this is my name, it's gone. I won't even approach you now, that freaks me out. The best way that I can put it is my anxiety is like a stray cat that always will show up in your garden and nobody wants it. It's not mine, no one's claimed it, nobody wants it there, but it shows up anyway and it's scaring my depression dog and it just keeps clawing, and then the dog runs to me and I'm like, cat, go away, you're startling the dog, but it won't leave. And I think that's why I'm feeling the way that I am. But I'm working on taming that cat, even though I don't like cats, because if it's not going to go away, I might as well give it some cat food, you know? But I also know that it is not as easy as it looks, trying to reclaim that feeling when it controls every fibre of my being. I had this thought not too long ago. I mean, it's been in my head for a while, but this is when I, like a few weeks ago, made this distinction that I always say, is it possible to have a self-ick? Like that thing that you do that you think, that's so fucking gross, why did I do that? And you critique yourself and it really grosses you out. And then I realised that's just self-deprecation. An example of that is whenever I take public transport a lot, okay, first of all, and whenever I have to get off at a certain stop, be that on a bus or a train, getting off is the most awkward fucking thing to do. If I'm stood, it's easier because you're already up, but the process of standing up once you're sat down and trying to move while the bus and train is still moving and you're coming into the stop and you're trying to make your way to the doors, it's the most frustrating and self-conscious thing to do, because I'd be swaying, and if that bus or train jolts, I would be in the lap of the person in front of me, and I don't want that. I don't want my K-drama moment where we fall in love. I would rather die. Like, if I fall into someone's lap, murder me on the spot, let Satan erupt from his little house and swallow me whole. I'm not going to interact with that. I will run off that fucking platform as fast as I can. I don't run, that's a lie. But I'm moving as fast as I can to get away from that, and I'm not leaving my room for a week, at least. That being said, if I am sat down and I see someone else getting off at their stop and they're swaying, or if they accidentally fall, they recover so well from it. And they're so cool about it that I'm like, it happens to people, I get it. And I'm in my own world and I'm like, no, you are absolutely amazing at everything you do and you can do no wrong. But if that was me, say a prayer. And there's a lot of those moments that I have in public, especially with being at university. People will just say hi to you all the time. People will be waving to random strangers that they've met at one time in a lecture and acting like they're besties, and that's normal and I love it for them. But you will not catch me waving at a person I met one time for 5 seconds, absolutely not. And I think that fuels a lot of the reason why I am the way that I am, because, I mean, I know logically. See, I know logically and scientifically. I'm a smart person and I know that by having these human connections it will help myself, because if I'm interacting with people I will feel less awkward about social interactions. But because of the way that I am, the fear, you don't understand. I would much rather genuinely have every single fibre of hair on my body waxed than say hello to a single stranger. It is a terrifying concept. That being said, there are some moments when people on public transport have been so fucking rude and annoying, and yet I have the nerve to justify them like, no, they're just doing their best, they're a great person. They're not. Sometimes they're just being a bitch for the sake of being a bitch, and it's not appreciated, and I need to start standing up for myself, because if I'm so self-conscious about stumbling a little bit trying to get off a stop, which is absolutely justified in a moving fucking transit thing, then why am I justifying some of the shit that they do? Because let me tell you about this little incident, okay? Public transport is awkward enough as it is, okay? But some people go out of their way to make it more awkward than it is, and I absolutely hate them for it. 9 times out of 10, on the way back from university, I'm one of the first people on the bus, because the stop that I go to is like one of the first stops. So I know I'm going to get a seat, which is fine, which I love, because standing is a little awkward, I will admit. But I know that I'm going to get a seat, so it's fine. So I will sit my little ass down, and I will wait for everyone else to join. And I get that it's busy, so I have no issues with people sitting by me. It's a little awkward, I will admit that, and I do feel self-conscious about it, but if it's a full bus, absolutely someone's going to sit next to you if it's a stranger. Like, it's just the socially acceptable thing to sit by a stranger on a full train or a full bus. Get it, love it. So I have no issues sitting by someone that I don't know if the thing is full. If it's not full and there's loads of seats spare and you sit next to me, then we have a problem. I won't tell you, but I will write your name in my personal death note and I will be coming for you. Besides the point, the big issue comes from when I have to get off at my stop before you have left my side. If I say to you, excuse me, I'm getting off, I expect you to stand up and let me off. It is the bare minimum. You can wait until the whole thing has stopped. I have no expectations for you to stand up as soon as I've said, as soon as the words have left my lips, the syllables. You can wait until it has stopped. I'm not about to shoot you if you don't move as soon as I ask. But if we get to my stop and all you have done is shift and you expect me to wriggle across the seats to get to my stop? For anyone, for any normal person that is like fine with social interactions, they're chill, they can connect. For anyone, it's going to be awkward to be expected to shuffle past someone. It takes 2 seconds for you to stand up, let me move and sit back down. No one is going to steal your seat. We are not vultures, so it makes no logical sense for you not to get off your seat. Please, for 2 seconds. Actually, another little tidbit that I have is whenever someone is already sat down, I will try my best in a full capacity not to sit by someone that I don't know, because I am awkward and I would much rather someone sit by me than me have to sit by them. Even though it is a socially acceptable thing, I would much rather have them sit by me than ask. But in a full thing, if I ask you, and I will ask, I will always, no matter if we know each other, if we're besties, or if I have met you for the first time in my life, I will always say, excuse me, do you mind if I sit here? If you don't even acknowledge my existence, I will burst into flames on the spot like a phoenix and burn you at the stake. I am a good person. What makes you think that you are better than me? By ignoring my existence, all I am saying is, hey, can I sit here? You could smile. You could look in my direction. You can nod. You can speak. Just acknowledge that I'm there and you've heard what I say. And I won't sit until I get a response from you. It's the most awkward thing to be like, hey, do you mind if I sit here? Okay. The frustration is so real. It's so real. And everyone else has heard it. And I get that people play music. I get that it's hard to hear. You might not hear me. That's fine. But clearly you can see that I've just stood there awkwardly. You can assume I've said something, or you can at least look at me to be like, oh, why is that person there? And then I can gesture again. You don't just look at me. It's the most annoying thing for me to ask. Can I just go there? And you to blatantly look out the window and ignore me. You must have spotted me. And if it was only a few times that this has happened, I would not be as upset as I am. But clearly, the amount of times that I have asked, every single person will ignore me. Like, genuinely, it is ridiculous the amount of times that I've asked or gestured or just coughed in the direction of please let me sit here, and they've ignored me and looked out the window. And it makes me feel like an awkward and bad person, because do people not ask to sit by someone now? I mean, to be fair, if I did say, can I sit here, and they said no, I don't know what I would do. I mean, clearly not sit there, but I would freak out a little bit, because why not? Do you hate me? Am I the worst person on the planet? Probably. So I get why people would be like, I'm just going to sit here, because if you say no, I'll be upset. But I will ask because I'm a good person and I care about other people, and it at least lets them know, hey, I'm going to sit here, because if I sit down and they freak out, like, oh, you startled me, then that will also make me feel bad. So I always ask, and I always get rejected, and it's the worst fucking thing. Rant over, I hate public transport, but the anxiety of learning to drive outweighs all of these awkward interactions that I have on public transport, which says a lot. Besides the point. The point I'm making is I have a lot of anxiety about social interactions and talking to people, and it can be the easiest thing or the most obvious. I will freak out about every little thing, but I'm working on it, and I mean that. I say a lot, oh, it's fine, I'll work on it, and then I don't, and I'll just get on with my life. But I think this is one thing that I genuinely do need to work on and go out of my comfort zone more. Because if I don't do anything, I'm just going to be stuck in this same overwhelming fear of the outside world and for the stuff that I want to do and the life I want to live. It is not going to help me in any way. So if I want to do all the things and have fun and have loads of friends and go out, it's something that I have to deal with. And that's something I'm just going to have to come to terms with and take things slow and breathe and better myself. And to everyone else that struggles with every little thing that they do, know that you are not alone. I could breathe the wrong way and I will hate myself for weeks about it. And that's not the way that things should be. But I acknowledge that it's a thing that I'm dealing with, and it's a thing I have to overcome, and I will. Maybe not fully. You won't see me on a big stage singing and dancing, but at least the goal is to go to a shop and not freak out about leaving without buying anything. I hope everyone watching has the best day, night of their lives, and that you enjoy the life you live while you live it, because you only have one. And if you are overwhelmed by all these feelings, it is not a life to live at all. And I am with you on this journey, and we will figure out how to live as a basic human together. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.